Hello, hello, my beloved waking gods and goddesses. Maria West here. Welcome to Love, Truth, and Beauty. This is episode 396 and our 17th installment of my video series, Conversations with Women. And today I have one of my bestest friends in the whole world, Erin Shannon, she does all kinds of stuff. She's a comic, a singer, one of my good friends for over 30 years, a troublemaker with me and me with her. She's also a psychic tarot reader. What did you call yourself? A
I'm kind of an intense empath.
There we go.
Mostly read the energy.
Awesome. Welcome, honey.
Hi. Oh
Hey,
my gosh.
honey.
It's actually been a little while
I
since
know.
we saw
Where's
each other's faces.
Show
You
us
guys are
the
in trouble.
penis. Show us the penis microphone. I'm
Oh,
intrigued.
I was going to use my microphone.
Oh yeah, there
But
we go.
okay, when I whipped this out, when I got it, because I thought, I thought, oh, I like pink. And then I whipped it out and my daughter said, that looks like a that looks like a penis.
Yes.
And I went, oh well,
It's
you're
okay.
right. It
It's
really
okay. We're
does.
grown-ups around here.
It's
We can
kind
do
of
it.
it's kind of impressive and it has girth.
It's got a big
So
head too. Like, wow.
I know. And it's great for not popping your P's or your B's when you speak or sing.
Okay, folks, this is the kind of stuff that happens. We just start laughing and it's just laughing, laughing, laughing. So, how are you? What is new? Tell us all about it. Tell us about yourself because I will not do you justice.
Oh, I
I
don't even know
won't.
if
I won't. You do so many things and so many things consistently.
well, I'm a Gemini. I'm supposed to.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah. But, and then every time I say I'm a Gemini, I try and qualify it. Oh yeah, but I've got an Earth trine, which
Ah,
means that I'm more grounded and focused, actually more neurotic, maybe. Um, but so let's see. Let's see. I kind of I do a lot,
yeah.
but as far as the cat lady part, lately I've been toying with the idea of doing cat sitting for people locally that I can do while I'm still, because I work a day job as an office person and very much a helper. That's I think that's my whole, like, a communicator and helper is
Yes.
like my whole shtick in life is that I want to help or I want to disseminate information or and just provide support. So this job was perfect for me, but I'm thinking that I want to retire eventually,
Yes.
and so I really enjoy doing cat and dog sitting. So I've been doing that lately uh, for some reason, and I will just let it happen. I have started doing readings again at different markets. I just recently did all day, 3 Saturdays in a row at the Winchester Mystery House over in San
Ooh,
Jose, which was very
nice.
interesting. Well,
Okay,
if you want
let's
to do a
talk about that.
sidebar and talk about what I
Yeah,
feel
because
at the
I've been to
mystery
that
house,
place, and that is a creepy place.
it's a little weird, but it's not what they think. Do you know
Okay.
what I mean? It's from my perception
Okay, let's hear it. I want to hear it.
as a kind of energetic medium. Uh, oh, that's kind of a nice little term. Anyway,
Yeah.
my perception.
Hmm.
I went through and I did that tour for the first time. I had never been to the Winchester Mystery House up until my birthday this last year.
Okay.
At years and years living in the Bay Area, just always wanted to go, never went. And I went on the quote unquote ghost tour, the spirit tour,
Ah,
which takes you kind of through the back areas instead of through the main and front areas. And I'll tell you that for all the stuff that they were talking about, there were only two places that I felt something. And the one place that one of the places was just more of a kind of congested pressure in the room, even though it was a very open kind of room. The walls were kind of open and there were all these rooms off of it. But once we stepped through the threshold there, I was like, oh, well, that's interesting. And as soon as we left the threshold there, oh, that's gone.
So
and
what do you attribute that to?
I just think that there's a lot of residual energy there. There's a lot of, I think also too, the stories, from what I understand, the stories were created kind of after she had already sold the place. The new people bought it and wanted to make some sort of attraction out of it because it was so interesting that they made some of the stories up. Granted, everybody and their grandma was doing seances during the late 1800s, early 1900s because of the spiritualist movement and because of how devastating the Civil War was. And people were really wanting to see if they could connect with their dead, their dear departed ones. So chances are, yeah, she probably had seances in there. But she had an interest in architecture. And the earthquake, the earthquake, and that she had like 7 stories, and then the earthquake knocked down.
Are you referring to the 1906 earthquake?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Knocked down a whole bunch. And what might have happened is she just walled up the stuff and didn't.
Oh, shit.
You know, that's why it's so weird. Now, that's not all of it. There was also a fire later. And so, she could have just been like, okay, well, I can't build the 7 stories back if it's gonna topple over during an earthquake. And she got older and she had rheumatoid arthritis, I think. Anyway, I just feel like there's a lot of residual stuff. And also after having some experiences and after, checking in intuitively with a bunch of ghost hunting shows that I watch and stuff, because I'm a little addicted to them. I feel like the stories that you put into it create an energy of their own. So you're almost creating things there. So I did, however, in the basement, they said something about 2 children and maybe, but I didn't feel them. But they did say something about a man with a wheelbarrow, and that's most consistent in the stories that people tell. And I saw him down the hall. Like I closed my eyes, opened them up really quick, and I did see, like, energetically, I saw him down in the hallway where he was supposed to have been.
Cool.
But other than that, I mean, it's a beautiful place. It's really interesting. And doing readings there, the 2 of the weekends I did readings, like, actually in the house at one of the places where only the staff, they were able to open up. The market kind of opened up different places that people don't normally get to go. And we had this side room and did readings in it. And it was a great place to do readings.
And what kinds of people were showing up?
Well, this is the Menagerie and Oddities Market, and they do these different markets year round in the Bay Area and up north and down south. And so it's kind of a dark goth Victorian market.
Ooh.
And so the first 2 weekends were that theme. And then the last weekend was the mystical market, because it was after Yuletide. It was after Yuletide, after the Christmas season. So the last Saturday that I was there was strictly, woo-woo, kind of dark woo-woo, all kinds of stuff. There's really beautiful artwork and amazing artists. And I'm supposed to be doing readings again in March for their Women of the Menagerie and Oddities, Women of Oddities Market, I think, in Oakland. So it'll be fun.
Yeah.
And I really meet so many sweet people. I mean, it's not necessarily these events, as long as I look at it as this is not something that's, bringing clients in, because I have a feeling, I have a tendency to, when I do readings for people, whether it's short or whether it's long, I like to feel complete. So they'll get like a 10-minute, 12-minute reading at the most, and then they'll just feel so much better when they leave. Hopefully that's the idea, that they're like, oh, I don't need anything else.
Yeah.
You could give out your card and stuff like that, but it's really like that's a type of client that's like, oh, I'm here, you're here, let's do this thing. And sometimes they don't expect how deep things go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. What do you think is the sort of flavor of, like, for instance, the people you tend to attract? Because, that's the whole thing about readings, is that you don't, you want to provide a service, and there's always the sort of notion of the one-off, that it's a one-off encounter. I, for one, if I'm going to be working with someone, I don't necessarily want it to be a one-off. So
I understand.
I want to establish something where I could, at my whenever inspired or when as needed, be able to, ring my person up.
Yeah. Ideally, that would be something. It's I have not been as good at that. I've been mostly not necessarily that I'm not as good at that part of it, but I guess I don't the type of client that seems to come, that shows up at these things, or the consistent type of clients I have, these are people that want validation about where they're at, and maybe some sort of hope about where they would be going, or a direction to go. And mostly these people want to be seen.
Yes.
They want to take a few minutes, and they had no idea that that's what they actually needed that day, that afternoon, but they sit in front of me, and I just pardon me, I love them. I just love them. Like, they sit in front of me, and regardless of what's going on, I can just feel my heart, and I can hopefully feel theirs, and I can tell them this energetic story that shifts things and gives them a little bit of hope.
Yeah.
And I don't know. And I thought that it was like the facial expressions and stuff, but during the panini, I did, or tail end of it, I did do a bunch of readings at a Halloween event, like in 2021. Yeah. And everybody was wearing masks. Everybody was wearing sunglasses. And it's just energy, it still was just as deep and just as connected. My favorite story is that I read Death on a Skateboard. Some dude was dressed up as Death with his mask on and everything like that. And he skated up on a skateboard up to my tent and came in, and we had like the most intense, I wouldn't even know the person if I ever saw them again, and maybe they wouldn't know me, but it was the most intense. Like, it was exactly what we both needed at the moment. And it was amazing. And I'm like, oh, I read Death on a Skateboard.
Cool. But don't you think too, especially with the masks and the proverbial masks we all wear?
Oh yeah.
That just maybe just lowering it down a little, or revealing something really vulnerable is, I mean, I think it's gold.
It really is. I usually do, when I'm doing those readings, the really quick ones, I generally do like 3-card pull. The past, which is something that is passing away, an energy that is passing away, or something that you're mastered. present, which is currently the stuff you're soaking in, and near future, which is where you're going with this current trajectory. And in the past, of course, for some reason, for me to read someone's past, it's so much easier because it's so concrete, and the energetic story is so clear that it amazes me sometimes, some of the things that come out. And those are some of the most vulnerable, really kind of prickly and precious points
Yeah.
for people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I couldn't figure out for a long time, like, why I could pinpoint things, like, and I had more accuracy in the past, but that's because it's already happened, and it's part of their energetic signature, and it's part of their story that they're showing me.
Indeed.
And they may not know that they're showing me that story, but they're showing me that story because on some level, if somebody sits in front of you for healing, on some level, they want it. They desire it. It's their intention.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the most part, they want it. They're, some people sit in front of you for a test, but I used to get them.
You're kidding.
All the time.
Okay. So wait.
For years, I haven't, though.
So are those like people that, like, when you say test, they fuck with you, or?
Yeah.
You're kidding.
Yeah, but I don't know what happened. I would say about 5 or 6 years ago. Maybe it's my own level of self-confidence, my own level of ownership, of wisdom.
Yeah.
But I'm not as if you'll pardon my French, I'm not as fuckwithable as I was.
Yay!
As I was before. And maybe because I'm older, and maybe I look older now, that there's a more of a level of respect, and there's not like some dude sitting in front of you. Haha, yeah. What do you see? Yeah, I see urine.
Yeah, exactly, dick face.
But it doesn't happen. Even
That's
like
good.
big burly tough guy, who sit in front of me and we're crying, because everybody wants to be seen. I think that's I'm here to do that, for people in those instances.
That's so cool.
And in everyday life, I think people just need that. That's,
Yeah. That's so cool. I think that's cool. And don't you think, like, with quick readings, the 3-card draws are just like so powerful?
Yes. Yeah. I could probably do an hour reading based on the 3 cards and maybe a few companion cards.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's just telling a story. And then when you start unwinding it, then the energy kind of unwinds, and then you get even more. And I use the Fairies Oracle. I use the Tarot for some things, but I use the Fairies Oracle for my readings with people. I've been using it since 1999.
I know, you were the one that turned me on to them.
I know.
Yep.
That I have, and see, the deck is like,
it's well loved.
It's a double deck, and it's well loved. Well, because Toby, my old doggy, he chewed on some of the cards, and I ended up going, no, I need to get another deck so I can have all the cards. And then I went, oh, I'm not throwing these away.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll get double cards.
Yeah.
But I like the Fairies Oracle because it seems to speak my language a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, it's more aligned with, really, I think, the essence of you.
Yeah, I think so too.
The sort of pixie trickster, Yeah.
Yeah, it's like because they're very tricky. Fairies get in, that kind of energy or that kind of vibe can get into mischief, but it also can be very serious and dark and deep.
Indeed.
But there's always a smile. There's always some sort of poking.
Yes.
Yeah. About it. There's always a trick, but not a bad trick, I suppose.
Yeah. Would you say that, since you've done so many readings, that people do you notice themes that seem to like circulate, like themes that are popular at a given time?
Not necessarily at a given time,
Okay.
but I'll tell you in the last, I suppose, a little bit. So when I've been doing, consistently doing a lot of readings at a time, where from like 2018 until 2021, I was doing these markets and stuff. And then I stopped in 2021 and I started back up again this fall. I noticed that, God, everybody was treated like crap when they were kids. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not seen,
Yes,
not
I do.
heard,
Yeah.
left, not accepted, brokenhearted.
Aw.
Just like, because, you know, uh, parents didn't know how to parent, didn't understand,
Yeah.
and or didn't want to,
Yeah.
or whatever. Um, I have been very honored to do a lot of readings for like I guess you'd call them uh, Gen Y, or
Hmm.
younger people, and seeing the difference in the energetic difference, and the difference in things that they're concerned about, but also
Hmm.
universal
Yeah.
things.
For
You know,
for instance.
um, well, being non-binary,
Hmm.
being gender fluid, being LGBTQ plus, and the things that, and the need, again, this is a need to be seen
Yes.
and acknowledged, and how, well, how cool and how precious it is that they're much more open, to all of, to this, and and to this kind of thing. And I don't know, I just find it's really sweet and really precious and powerful,
Hmm.
like,
Well, and they
really.
need a mama. They need a grounded mama. That's
Yeah, and I
that's
yeah
my experience
me too.
with that crowd, is that they are perhaps way too open and the boundaries
Hmm.
are just
Hmm.
not, I mean, what are they?
Well, and they need somebody who's a grown up, that, or somebody they perceive as an older person, that has some sort of flexibility of mind and a sense of
Indeed.
humor,
Yeah.
and like, and can and you can find relating points too, because a lot of times they would go and sit in front of somebody that they don't, or if they talk to their parents or anybody that's an adult,
Yeah.
or more, somebody that's older than them around them, and they don't have any relating points.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I'm still more flexible of mind, so I can find more relating points.
Yeah.
And I also remember being that age, and I remember how it felt, and how and what maybe I needed to hear.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, our generation, our parents were pretty messed up people.
you think?
Yes. Wow. I mean, I think it's a miracle. Like, I think it's a miracle that I'm still alive, to be perfectly honest.
I
And I'm
understand.
sure you feel the same way. I mean, just the level, I think the level of neglect and the journey of having to figure out how to source ourselves and find our way and get through the muck of, this parental drama, whatever dramas were going on between mom, dad, just all of that.
Yeah, or like none at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or just
Yeah.
like,
There's
or
that too.
absence,
Yeah.
of everybody. I mean, I don't I it has been so hard to learn how to adult. to like, and I have a 42-year-old daughter, but listen, it's been really hard to learn how to adult. I'm still learning, and it
Yeah.
still stresses me
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
you know, but because there was nobody around that could have even remotely taught me
Yeah.
at the level that I need the adulting lessons,
Indeed. And it's not something you could look up in the dictionary.
No,
What is
no.
that? What does it mean? What does adulting mean?
Well,
What is that?
yeah,
I mean, all the little bullet points and checkoffs, like I was good at faking all that shit.
yeah.
Really good at faking that stuff. But that doesn't mean that I knew what the hell I was doing. I was
That's the
mostly
thing. You still
mimicking.
did it though. You did it though.
I was
That's where
still
I get hung up.
hmm
Is that and maybe it's just because I need to be sure. Like I need to have this knowing that okay, this is the right thing to do. I will ruminate and I will stress and I will worry and I will overthink and overthink and overthink and I will pretend, my brain will pretend that she is problem solving, but all she is doing is stressing herself out,
Yeah,
overthinking,
I
trying to
get it.
going into all the what ifs and everything
Yes.
like that. And then it's like I don't uh, I have to work myself up into that until I
hmm
get to this point where I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this is exactly what I'm going to do. Because what happens is, I think that if we grew up some of the ways that you and I grew up, we think in absolutes as far as making
Yeah.
big
Well,
decisions is
we
concerned.
didn't have much of a choice because it
No,
either is or it isn't. And mostly it isn't. So we had
right.
to like deal with an absolute of what is.
Yeah. Well, and so we think about well, for instance, okay, well, I my credit is okay. And I was thinking, well, I needed to get a loan so that I could do some things, and take care of some things. But I was really freaked out about which one and whether I should. And I realized like last week that I was thinking in finite terms. I was pretending that I was thinking in scarcity and I was pretending that there was going to be no more and there was no way that I was going to be able to pay everything back or whatever. And I'm like, wait a minute, you have a regular job, you have really good like 401k and retirement that you're socking things away everything. Erin, this is not like, oh God, that's it. You don't have to take care of absolutely everything with this one thing.
Yeah.
This is to
Yeah.
take the pressure
Mhm.
off so that you can and I find and it took me until the other day when I was like, oh, this is what I'm doing. And then I did it and it's turned out better than I thought it was going to. But I was so terrified
Yeah.
and I was
Yeah.
depressed
Yeah.
and I was ashamed. That's the
Well,
thing.
and that's what I was just thinking that, we live in such a shame-based society. And I'm noticing this all across the board. I know lots of different people, and even in the psychic world, the shame and the nitpicking and
Mm,
just the browbeating, the judgment and criticism. I can get me better than you to figure. I mean, it's in the pagan community, it's
yeah.
in the tarot community, the astrology
Yes.
community,
Yes.
the fucking numerology community. It's like, give me a fucking break, people.
Right.
Can't we all get along?
Well,
Like, what the fuck?
it's like I had not been around other readers for quite some time, or
hmm
at least not shared space.
hmm
And this was unusual in these markets. I had to share space, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it was fine, but initially, it was really kind of a rough go of it to start out
Like,
because
how do
I
you
think,
mean?
well, what I meant, like I got there and we were in a place and it was raining and we were in a place called the fruit shed, which it was leaking. It was not good.
Oh God.
Anyway, but there were three three psychics there, and we each had totally different ways of working, which is fantastic. And ultimately the best, it was a really good balance. But initially I couldn't, there really wasn't room for me. And so I came off probably kind of bitchy, which I don't like to do. But I got there and I'm like, and I looked at both of them with their nice tables and all set up and everything. And I'm like, okay, all right, this is good. I don't know where my table's going to go. This is interesting. And, you know, and everybody, and one of the ladies was like, oh, I never think negative and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I said, well, I think human beings do that. And I think I have a legitimate right to kind of be pissy right now. But I'll figure it out. You know what I mean? And it started out a little prickly like that, but then it shifted. Like I calmed down for one thing, and I realized that as I get older, I'm like, I don't have as much patience for a lot of nonsense or any sort of, I'm going to pee around this sort of thing. Like, don't ask me.
Oh, no, honey.
Don't
you're
tell
going
me,
to pee on the
I'm
lawn. Okay. You will mark your fucking territory.
Right. Well, it was like, don't say, yeah, I've been doing this a long time, so I understand about these things. And I just looked over and I said, I've been doing this for nearly 40 years. So, okay.
Yeah, you know? Exactly.
Like, I don't
there, honey.
I don't have certifications everywhere.
Oh my God. Yes.
You know, but, and that was, you know, their response to having some grumpy lady come in wondering where her table was, you know, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like, but by the end, I love her. She loves me. We are so, and she just does such a different thing than I do.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic. But it was so funny because I realized, wow, all right. Well, but it can be very judgy.
Mm-hmm.
People can, you know, I was worried. I'm like, okay, I'm pulling out this tarot card. Somebody is going to have a judgment about what that tarot card really means, you know?
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
oh.
Yeah. No, I
hear you. You just have to explain. It's like, yeah, this is what it means for me right now for this particular client. It may have absolutely nothing to do with what the book said. And that was why I didn't start reading for other people when I started messing around with the cards, was because I didn't have permission to use my intuition. Ooh, I rhymed.
Interesting.
I didn't have permission to use my intuition.
There you go. Shake it, mama. Shake it. Yeah. And these are things that, you know, we have to sort of figure it out on our own. And I think you're absolutely right that as we gain traction in our own, you know, centering our own authenticity, I think it just becomes easier to, number one, not give a shit or not have the kind of patience, or is it even patience? Or maybe it's just the putting up with bullshit.
Well, it's also not taking the bait.
Yes.
Because sometimes people will judge you or come at you in such a way. And I'm sensitive to energy. If somebody's coming at me like on the defensive in a way, it is really hard for me not to match that a little bit.
Yeah.
And it took like 45 minutes for me to shift and not match that or match what I thought was happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was a really, it was a really incredible lesson in that. At first I didn't think it was. At first it pissed me off a lot.
Yeah. What was the shift for you? Like what was that? What was the, because I know exactly what you're talking about. It's touchy. It's fucking touchy.
Well, okay. So here's the shift. I realized that I was just as much of a judgmental asshole at that. I realized, oh,
Now
I'm doing it
I call
too.
myself an
And it was
asshole
a
sometimes.
mirror. It
Yeah.
was a mirror. And I did not like what I saw.
Yes.
And then when I realized that it was a mirror, it was like, oh, well, I need to look behind that mirror. What's actually really there? And this ended up being a person who just does readings differently than I do, but does and has her jam, and I have my jam, and we had and her people come to her, and I overheard her saying to her booth mate the last time we were together, it's just like, yeah, I'm pretty amazed. She goes right in, and then she just moves on to the next person. But it's not like she goes deep really fast and then move. She goes, I can't do
Yeah.
that. It takes
Yeah.
me a long time.
Yeah.
But just because this is how we do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't it I still have I still don't like to say I know exactly how I do it, because I can't explain that, because it surprises me a lot of the time. Like,
Yeah, good. Don't explain. I think that's almost better
I think
because
so too.
you're not sitting there justifying it or quantifying it, qualifying it, you know, proving it. It's
Yeah, and I'm not like, I I'm pretty sure that I have a spirit posse, but I don't I have never needed to know their names, and I've never needed to describe them, and I've never needed to say that they were speaking through me.
Mhm.
Um, that's just not the way that
Yeah.
I do it. But
Yeah.
other people do, and that doesn't mean that their work isn't valid. you
Yeah.
know it just means that that's not how I communicate. And I think that I'm supposed to communicate myself. That's why I don't think
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
supposed to be I'm a front person in my own
Yeah. Yeah.
thing.
Indeed. Indeed. And I think that's a good thing because then I think when you're more yourself and you're more, you know, what you're outputting is really you
Hmm.
and only you, that
Yeah.
you're innately protected against these, sort of disembodied entities that
Yeah.
are ready and willing to I met so many psychics that are like, I mean, they're disembodied, they've got demons and they're possessed.
Yeah.
It's wreaking havoc on their lives and things, and they don't even know it.
Yeah. I mean,
You've
there's
never been like
people
that. Yeah.
there's people that don't even do psychic work, that are walking around with all kinds of attachments,
Yeah.
and they don't know, but they also have a hard time being accountable for their actions when they're
Mhm.
being influenced by these
Yes.
things. And I mean, years ago when I was working for Judith Conrad, you remember?
Oh, I remember her.
Yeah. How
Wow.
Anyway, why can I not get over that she took the mailing list? Anyway, I'll be fine. Um,
I hear you. I hear you.
I'll be fine. Well, I went to this event for her, and she had a woman named Sally Adderton who channeled the Ascended Masters. She was one of the speakers. There was a guy who was talking about rebirthing. I think it was Brian Silva. And then there was James Dubois, who wrote a book about manifestation. He was from the Dubois Vineyards or whatever. Anyway, but Sally Adderton stepped forward and started doing her thing. And I really wanted to see what it looked like. What, you know, and what was interesting was I saw her step forward, and energetically I did see a group walk walk up, and one by one step into her.
Oh, wow.
And her voice would change and her face would change and everything. And I was like, boy, do I never want to do that.
Ugh.
But I found it was really, really interesting. And I think, you know, in the past, when I was younger, I really feel like I wasn't open to necessarily the ascended masters, but to dead people would step in, and I would feel weird, and I would, you know, they would say
Yeah.
what they needed to say, and I figured out how to set boundaries over that. But for a long time, I didn't know how.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and that's not, and it's just not cool. It's exhausting, and you know, I mean,
Kind of gross.
I have trouble enough when I'm channeling information for people for their readings, remembering what I said. And apparently some of the things are very earth shattering and really profound. And then you know, they'll come up a while back and go, God, I remember when you said this. And I'm like, oh yeah, I don't remember.
I have no idea who you are.
No, I know who they are, but I don't remember the stuff I said. I'm sure I've done a reading or we've done stuff together, you and I, to where I don't remember, but I remember that it made the shift that it needed to make.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the most important thing.
Yeah. 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 Cool. Wow. What else is going on, honey?
Flirty.
What else is going on?
Well, okay, so I'm still singing with the Clarences.
Okay, cool.
And we just
tell the viewers who the Clarences are, what you guys do, because it's fun.
It is very fun. I've been singing with Robert and the Clarences, wow, since about 2012. And we are, how do you describe it? It's like a new wave rock opera comic book superhero band. Robert, the maestro, he had a band named the Clarences, and he had a full band, and then he decided he didn't want a full band and that he wanted to do the songs really short. So he shortened all of his songs and added a few. And so the songs are only about a minute and a half long. And he plays one of those old Casio keyboards that has the drum machine in it.
Oh my God.
It's so cheesy.
I know. I've got 3 of them, I think.
Right?
Still.
And so he plays that, and he sings, and then there's Leslie to one side of him, and she's kind of like free spirit hippie girl, singing and dancing. She needs a lot of space, and she does some harmonies, and I go on this side and I do some harmonies, and so we sing these silly songs together, and people really like it. So we've been doing it for a long time, and none of the names, like if he told me the name of a song and say, we're going to do such and such next, I would have no idea what song it was, because none of the titles really have anything to do with what any of the lyrics in the songs.
Yeah.
He's a wacky Libra.
Of course.
He's born on
another air sign.
The same day as you. But
we share the same birthday?
Yeah, October 20th.
Aha. Aha. Aha.
Yeah. Oh, you know I love my Libras.
Oh my God. I know. Well, and I have a Gemini moon.
I know. That's why you love me.
Yeah. That is the kooky house for me. Yeah.
I know.
Well, you know, it really is the house that has like kept me in balance. So I don't fucking, you know, go out of my mind, drown in those thoughts, or get buried underneath the, you know, Capricorn rising, whipping the whip.
Mm-hmm.
Go, achieve, proceed.
It helps you stay more playful.
Exactly.
Like if you had a different moon, you would be so much more serious.
So fucked.
I know. I don't know. Listen, you have no idea how thankful I am for my Taurus moon. You have no idea. I mean, with
Yeah.
all the Gemini and then all the big Virgo, kind of neurotic Virgo, all in my first house with.
Oh shit.
Oh, I have Pluto, Uranus, and Mars conjunct in Virgo in my first house.
Oh, I've got Venus and Pluto in Virgo in the
Mm-hmm.
eighth house conjunct. It's fun.
Oh, nice. It's so interesting to think about that stuff. Amanda has gotten so she geeks out on astrology. It's really incredible. It's incredible. But I mean, as usual, being the Gemini, I have this surface knowledge of stuff, and I can kind of pull it out when I need it. And then I can, people asking, oh my God, is Mercury in retrograde? Yeah, but
I like
yeah,
Mercury retrograde. I think it's fun.
it doesn't, I haven't had very many problems
Yeah,
about
me
that.
neither. I enjoy it. I enjoy the break
Oh yeah.
because
I'm learning how to relax.
I'm a chatterbox. Chatterbox, chatter, 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 chatter.
It's so funny. It's like I've gotten to be, well, you can't tell from this video, but I'm not as much of a chatterbox as I was. But with you, I'm going to talk your ear off,
Well,
and you're going to talk mine
it's
off.
good. It's good. I mean, I'm with the Scotsman he's got in Whole House Astrology, he's got 8 things in Virgo for fuck's sake.
Yeah. But see,
So,
then that appeals to your
and
Venus.
Cancer rising. So, and of course, I tend to attract a lot of Cancer rising, the sort of the dark side of that sort of victim people pleasing kind of thing that like goes on, and it's like it's exhausting. It
Yeah.
is exhausting, but it is my descendant.
Yeah.
Ascendant, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh, Aquarius is mine.
I'm learning. I'm learning how to like, okay, I see those people and I'm just like, okay, see ya,
Yeah. Well,
see ya.
it's like I have very few people that are in my inner circle. And because I'm a Gemini, I guess because I'm a Gemini sun and I have Mercury in Gemini and Venus in Gemini, like up in the 10th house, my sun is in the 11th, that I'm supposed to be friends with everybody, but not like, and I have, there's different layers of that.
Yeah.
And I know that over the last maybe decade or so, I have not been, I do have the feeling that I could be closer to people. I could have more intimate friendships, but I think that there's a lot of shame and around not being able to be a good enough friend because there's so much going on
Right.
here that I don't have the juice to be, and then I feel ashamed that I don't have the juice for it. And so if I don't have the juice for it, I get concerned that other people won't.
Well, and that's the thing. People are exhausting. They're fucking exhausting. And
yes.
Friendships kind of go, the definition of intimate friendships, close friendships goes with adulting. Like, what the fuck does that even mean?
I know.
I don't know what that means. And as you know, I mean, we're in the 10-year anniversary of, just the gutting that I experienced.
I know.
Where everybody around me, except present company and a handful of other people, like I got thrown under the bus. Like, what?
I know.
I mean, people lie. They just lie. And they don't think twice about it. Like there are no consequences to that kind of thing.
No.
And it's weird. I mean, it changes you when you have those experiences of people that you think are your close friends, that they willfully did harm to you. They did because they wanted to and they could, and they did.
Yeah.
That it changes you. I'm not
Well,
the same person.
here's what I'm glad about. I'm glad that you spot it quicker now,
Oh, I do. Oh, yeah.
because my concern, I have always been concerned about, or especially during that time
Hmm.
and as we knew each other, because you were always this person who um always seemed to have like more of your shit together. And I was always very, very concerned about taking any advantage of you at all. Because, and also because I watched all these other people do it, and I
Isn't
couldn't
it
protect you,
weird?
and
Isn't
I
it
couldn't
weird?
protect you from it. It's kind of like with my daughter. It's like I couldn't, of all the things, like when I love somebody, I want to protect them
Of
from
course.
stuff, and I will give me the chance. I will, and I couldn't, and I just I couldn't protect you from that, and all I could do is just
Yeah.
fucking,
You had to
you
watch
needed
me go
people to
down.
show up,
Yeah.
and I was gonna make sure that I did, you know.
It was a lesson I really had to learn that one. Really,
I
really
know.
had to learn that
I'm
one.
glad you did.
And even online, just really learning the discernment powers that we really need to be anchored and grounded in, and especially when you put out stuff to
Right.
the general public, it's like, holy shit, you know?
Yeah, you have to have people, like, people can talk a good game and tell you what they think they can do for you and everything. They
Mhm.
need to show you.
Yeah,
They need to show
exactly.
you in actions, and not, and yeah, not, I maybe I'm even more guarded than I need to be, because I just because of the way that I was, I I don't trust a lot of people.
Me
I
neither.
don't
I
actually
don't.
trust hardly anybody to actually show up for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Um so maybe that's why, I don't get a lot of, hey, I want to do this for you and all this stuff, like,
Yeah,
not often.
yeah.
But I just have, I might be a little bit more shut down than I need to be when it comes to stuff like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I also have, I do have a lot of discernment, because I know what people are capable of, and I
Yeah,
know, and I know, uh for the most part, I know what they're not, and I know who I can count on.
yeah, yeah,
And I know, uh I like being surprised by people.
yeah, yeah,
That's the nice thing, is to be surprised by someone who
yeah,
shows up.
yeah,
And that's always really, that, that makes points with me.
yeah,
um but but I don't, um I've kind of got to the point where, rather than not expecting it because I don't feel like I'm worthy,
hmm,
I don't expect it because I feel like I'm worthy of actual showing up,
yes,
you know?
yeah, yeah,
Like, and so I'm not gonna chase anything
yeah,
that isn't there.
yeah.
And that was liberating to finally
Ah, no
stop.
shit. No shit. Or to just constantly be uh av available. Um,
Yeah.
and it's so funny because, when the universe tests you, uh, I had a thing happen where, and this was recently, where against my better judgment,
Mhm.
I got sucked into a client and a student's personal dramas that has a lot to do with bad choices, circumstances, and I fell for it. I fell for it. And it's funny because you invite people into your home and you don't realize that when you invite people into your home to come live with you, and their lives are chaotic, their lives are overrun by whatever, and there is this angry vibe this enraged vibe that goes on. I mean, why was I surprised? I wasn't even really all that surprised
Right.
that while I was in Europe and she was supposed to be taking care of my house, she ghosted me. I mean, she just left, didn't tell me where she was going, just gone, gone,
Wow.
gone, gone. And what was great about it is that there was this sort of initial wince, and I literally felt this weight just rise off
Oh yeah,
my shoulders
because if
and it
somebody's in your
fell
house, you
down.
feel like you're responsible for them.
Oh my God, my God. And so it's funny because everything started self-correcting. Everything started self-correcting. And you
Right.
start looking at the circumstances of what led up to it. I mean, it's just like, it's fascinating to me. Fucking
Oh,
fascinating to me. It's
it
like,
is.
the whole uh, consensus of the universe asking me, are you done?
Yeah. Are you
Are
sure?
you done? Are you done? Are you sure? So it's so funny because I come back, and it's like, the election is just getting ready to happen, or it just happened, or
Right.
whatever happened. And I get this phone call, and it's another person in my periphery, even not a close friend,
Right. Right.
nothing,
Right.
who is down and out and looking for donations and blah 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 blah. And I did not fall for it.
Well,
I
that's
didn't fall
good
for it.
because that was like some of the old stuff. Because I remember like there was somebody that oh, I'm not even gonna say the name out loud. That
Yeah,
was like always hitting you up, always hitting you up. It
what
was
in the
never
world?
an even exchange of energies. It was just and part of it is something that you're not going to be able to change. Do you know what it is? You have a very warm and welcoming and
I'm a warm
open-hearted
person.
and friendly way of being, and that is going to attract people.
Yeah, it's creepy.
And you just like I do in a certain it to a certain extent, you have like that divine mother goddess
Mhm,
kind of
mhm.
vibe.
Yeah.
And you know
I want people to be happy. I want to see the best in people. And it's so funny because my friend and colleague Mark Passio, he talks about the dark side of wanting to see the best in people all the time.
I
And
know.
when they show you who they are, you don't believe them. It's when naivete gets weaponized against you,
Right.
where you just can't see the backstabbing, lying sack of shit or biatch from
Hmm.
hell that's throwing you under the bus every chance she gets. And
Yeah.
it's like it's the empathy trap. When you're dealing with a narcissist, sociopath, and a psychopath, empathy is the trap.
Yeah.
And that's a hard lesson. It's really a
I
hard lesson.
know. i
I hate it.
feel i feel lucky in the respect that some of that is not one of my patterns. uh it's uh it's more it was like, since I haven't really engaged in that way. I don't really engage in that way. um it's it's more in relationships, in romantic relationships. For me, it's generally um me accepting less than what I deserve, and being so in such scarcity consciousness, like
Mhm,
being so grateful for the
mhm.
kind of attention,
Yeah.
because I'm not the kind of a person that received that kind of attention, that somebody wanted me. Like, I'm not the kind of a person that happened to, as much as it happens to other people, I suppose.
Mhm.
And so it was more precious. And so therefore I had a feeling of scarcity about it. Like, here's the problem. Well, okay, somebody paid attention to Erin. Somebody's interested in her. I'm talking about myself in the third person. Why not? Anyway, but and this doesn't happen often. Is this the last person that's going to want me? Is this the last person that's going to desire me or want to engage with me? And I can't, this is not, none of it ever felt like a take it or leave it situation.
Yeah.
And I have to shift gears into that. And maybe I'm just doing a reset to where maybe I don't trust myself to not feel take it or leave it yet. And so therefore I just don't engage that way at this time. Yeah. And I don't want to live with anybody again. I would like them to have their own house, or at least their own wing.
Yes.
They have their own wing.
I am very fortunate. I'm very fortunate because I can't imagine. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Scotsman, he's fucking awesome. But you know what? His house is wired for sound. That is the Siri and the Alexa constantly talking to him. I can't take it. My house is not wired for that shit.
Funny story about
that. Yeah. Okay.
When I was with the ex, I guess he had Google, and Google speakers or something. And at one point we had just finished.
Oh dear.
And Google said something like, he had picked a song before, like a couple songs or an album before. and Google was like, did you enjoy that? and I said, well, yes, I did.
Oh my God.
Yes, as a matter of fact.
Oh my God.
Thanks, Google. That was a thumbs up for me.
I'm not into the whole surveillance listening in.
Yeah, I don't really like it either. That was really disconcerting.
And maybe I'm kidding myself with this. I mean, this is an airplane mode. I should have it in my Faraday cage, but I don't.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure that some of the things that we've discussed here may end up in my advertisements.
Oh, of course.
Somehow.
We wacky should keyword, man.
We should do a keyword. Let's see. Depends undergarments, and then we'll see what happens. I don't wear them and I don't need them at this time because I do special exercises. I have a coach. No, seriously, they offer that through my job. They have like a Kegel coach, and they're kind of persistent.
Oh my God.
There's a little machine. Here we go. There's a little thing that you use, and you turn it on and you connect to your phone, and it gives you when you contract it, you make the ball go up, and then they coach you. Oh, how did that go for you? That's
my God.
They send you texts. Let's try it again tonight.
Oh my God.
Congratulations. This is your personal best. Of course it is. I can clamp down like a motherfucker.
So how are they judging that? I mean, you're not sticking anything anywhere, are you?
Yes. There's a little thing that you insert and you turn it on, and it connects Bluetooth to your phone. Yeah, I connect my JJ to my phone so it can test like how strong and how controlled.
Word.
I know.
Wowie. Who knew?
I know.
I did not know that.
I did not know either. I had no idea that there were coaches. That there were I just, you learn new things every day. And I'll tell you what, my mom wears diapers now. I refuse. I will not be that lady. I am not letting this bitch go. She's gonna stay in shape. I don't even care if I never use her again. I'll use her for that.
Badge fitness.
exactly. One
Exactly what
and
it is.
two and one and.
Holy shit. Wow. That's amazing. That reminds me of that video where it's the little film of the app where it teaches men.
Oh wow,
Yeah, the the
good.
the art form of you know what.
Well,
So funny.
we've
It's
all
pretty
got to
funny.
we. It's use it or lose it.
Yes.
It's there's physical therapy for all the muscles. Those are muscles. It's
Well, the Benoit balls, the Benoit balls,
oh
or
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
jade egg, the
What
jade
are
egg.
they
I
talking about?
actually took that was part of some of my coursework once upon a time. Um, the jade egg with
Was it
Montagia.
the same coursework that you took with the mirror where you had to look at your clock?
No, no, that was not the same thing. But that was pretty like, well, what is the big deal about this? But
I know, and
that was part of
I
it.
think that people don't talk enough about the fact that we are all created so differently and
Indeed.
positioned so
Indeed.
differently and unique down there
Yeah.
that that's why just a cookie cutter way of
Yeah. Yeah.
doing it
Well,
is not it doesn't work for everybody.
I did have an ex who was a painter. We won't mention any names, but
We
I
won't
had
do the
no
accent.
idea. I
We
had
won't do the
no
accent.
idea
My
what the
butt
fuck
hurts.
he was working on. And he did a series of pussies, basically, pussy paintings. And he didn't tell me. So I was not prepared for this opening in
This opening,
in San Francisco. It was an art opening at a gallery. I shit you not.
an
And
opening
I
at a
walk in and
gallery.
I'm looking and I'm going, oh, fuck me. Oh my God. And it was me. It was a big, giant painting. And I'm just like,
You're like, wait a minute, I've seen her before.
I was like really kind of perplexed, but at the same time, it wasn't any different than, say, the beautiful paintings that Georgia O'Keeffe did
Yeah,
of the flowers.
yeah,
So I had to like get the fuck over myself.
yeah. And see, and you're not. It's not like you're walking around with your vulva out there for everybody to see. Nobody knows. Nobody can do labial recognition unless they've been down there.
Yes, I know, exactly.
Oh, I think we've warmed up, Maria. We are now.
But I'll tell you, I had so much shame and judgment around it.
Yeah.
It's like looking at school photos and just seeing how in a black and white photo, I have dark skin and I just looked so dark and so I was just remember being horrified, like, wow, that's me.
Yeah, and that had to be really hard, and especially during the time that you grew up
Oh
and
yeah,
during the time that
it was
that
rough.
I grew up. We're only a little bit, only a couple years difference. Is that everybody on television and in movies had blonde hair and blue eyes, and they looked
Indeed.
like the fucking Brady girls.
Exactly. Exactly. It was
Everybody, and
not
that
a Brady
was
Bunch.
the stand. I mean,
Yeah.
even like if you watch Bewitched, even Samantha and her
Yes.
daughter,
Yes.
blonde hair, blue eyes.
Yeah.
It made us like people that looked different than that. And
Yeah.
me, I had dark hair and pale skin and dark eyes, and you had darker skin, and so like we didn't look like.
It didn't translate to the norm.
Yeah,
And I do remember just feeling really just kind of just very uncomfortable and really wishing that things could have been different for me. And now I don't give a shit. I just
well,
don't.
and to be clear, I am not comparing myself and my caucasity I'm not having the audacity to claim that my situation felt exactly the same as yours, because that's,
But it's,
you know, it's like,
I would think it would be even more intense for you because of the sort of portrayal back then of
right.
what was the ideal. Regard,
Yes.
it's like,
Until Auntie Cher, until Auntie Cher came along, and I finally saw somebody that kind of looked like me on television and was considered beautiful.
yeah.
And like, I think she was my first idol that I had, you know, Auntie Cher.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it so much. Oh my God. I'm looking at the time here. Oh my God.
I know.
We have been
That's why we
yakking.
got warmed up. All of a sudden, we were talking about,
I know.
labias.
See, I mean, this is, but I think I did that video on Beyond the vagine of the vagina, and it's gotten some fun views. And I that when that video came out, I was actually thinking, I should probably not have comments.
Ah,
I should
yeah, I
probably
can
close
imagine.
the comments because some of the stuff I had to delete, and this was before I figured out keywords and
Oh, yeah.
that kind of stuff. It's like, holy moly. But I think, though, that if we're going to be in a time of anything goes, then we do need to be able to talk about this kind of stuff.
Right.
And we
And
need to be able to do it and do it with a straight face so that it isn't a joke, because it's not a joke. I mean, these are important topics that
well,
I think
yeah,
we have to get beyond.
there's a whole group of people that don't even know what the anatomy is. Like
Oh my,
there's a whole, like, you've seen interviews with young men that think that we pee out of our vagina.
I
Like,
read that.
and it's a little horrifying, and it's I think that the more that we can have conversations like this, or however, the more we can have conversations about spirituality, the more we can have conversations about our bodies, and getting older, or what our
Yeah.
experiences and shadow and whatever, the more we can have conversations about these things, the more we're demystifying them.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that means that whoever happens to land on your page and sees the interview, they're going to get something out of it, or they're going to be triggered by it, which,
Yeah.
then you can do the keywords
Mostly,
for the
mostly
comments.
triggered, mostly triggered
Mostly
because I get a
triggered.
lot of hate mail, but whatever. I actually relish some of the hate mail because they're so entertaining that somebody could actually spend that kind of time and upchuck like
Right.
5 pages of
Thank
everything
you
they
so
hate
much.
about me. I mean, it's just
Thank you
like
so
so
much for
weird.
taking the time out of your day.
Indeed. It goes
Thank you so
it
much. I
goes
didn't
into a
even have to
crazy
pay
file.
rent to be in your head.
It's so strange. But at the same time, you do have to take certain things seriously, like when people threaten you or do
Yeah.
that kind of shit. That's just like, wow.
Well, that's something I don't envy with you. I am not like in that realm. I'm not. I guess I'm not as like groundbreaking. I'm not as not that I'm not as honest and real and authentic, but I'm just these. I don't touch those trigger points for the most
Mhm,
part.
mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, it's just like everybody has a different way of communicating and a different style of interacting with the
Yeah.
world, and I guess
Yeah.
that's
Well, I hit all the topics, and because I want them to, I don't want to just scratch the surface. I want to open it up so that we can have a conversation, we can have a good debate. No
mm-hmm. Oh, and I don't
mudslinging,
want
none
to
of that,
debate.
you know. um, I want people to like be able to say what they want to say. I have a lot of people on, I don't agree with what they're saying, but they have every right to say what they want to say, as long as they're
Right.
not nasty and as long as they don't sling mud or
Hmm.
threaten me, threaten other people,
Right.
or get
Right.
all like fucking, up in my shit because they don't agree with me. I don't want people to agree with me. That's not what this is about. You know,
Hmm. Well, and
not
I
really
think that's
steering.
perfect. See, that totally, that encapsulates like your vibe, what you're here to express, what you're here on this planet to express.
Yeah.
And like
People to
I
express them.
don't like to I think that I spent long enough in my life trying to justify my own existence to
Mhm.
myself that I just don't have the patience to want to have to feel like I need to, because
Mhm. Yeah.
that's what the kind of back and forth that you're talking about
Mhm.
does to me, to my
Mhm. Yeah.
energy,
Yeah.
is I feel like oh my god, you want to fight. You know, like,
And it's funny
are
'cause
you sure? Wouldn't you rather have a snack?
exactly.
Which,
Well, and the people
or
that want
take
to
a nap?
fight with me,
Yeah,
they don't exactly fight with. I don't bite the bait. I'm just like going,
I know.
I'll just say fair enough. And it
Yeah,
just
well, I mean, because
they
most people,
deflate. They deflate because they want that sort of verbal sparring, and I get to a point where I just get fatigued. It's like,
right?
okay, I see where you're coming from. I say, good on you. More power to you.
Yeah, and that's kind of
Right
like
on.
you're just like, okay, well, that's your perception, and I can appreciate that that's your
Yep.
perception. You're not going to get me to because my perception is different. My belief system is different. I'm sorry, that doesn't make me
Yeah.
wrong or
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
or
We're just
whatever,
different.
and
We're
it
just
doesn't make
different.
you wrong or right or whatever, but you go. This is if this works for you, great,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
That just
I
won't
think
work
that's
for me.
healthy. I think it's healthy because we each have a right to be who we are, and we each have a right in being exactly who we are. We allow others to be exactly as they are, different from us. I mean, it's
Right.
so
And like
simple, for fuck's
if
sake.
they're enough to where it's just too much, then don't be around each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, don't engage. That's the thing. People just want, I think people want to fight with themselves.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
just want to get
It's
in there and
like
everybody's all
foreplay.
pissed
It,
off and they got to
it's
find somebody
foreplay
to
for
be pissed
people.
off at and they got to yell at somebody and they got to, oh, I got to do it. I got to, oh,
Oh
you
my
know what I
God.
mean? It's like, okay, enjoy,
Oh my
have
God.
fun over there.
Well, let's go for another 10 minutes. So,
Okay.
um,
We already talked about penises and
yeah, we
vaginas.
did vaginas. We've covered.
We've
Um,
covered those topics. I don't,
so one of my favorite memories, actually, I've got quite a number of
I
favorite memories. Some
do.
of them we can't speak of, but one of my favorite memories is you doing an Edie Brickell song
Oh yes, as Ethel
as
Merman.
Ethel Merman. I just am like, oh my God,
I'll
that
tell
will
you.
never get old to me. Ever,
I
ever,
know you
ever.
cried.
I
Well,
almost
I mean,
fucking
you cried
died.
because it
I
was
was
painful.
laughing
No,
so
you
hard.
laughed until you cried.
Oh my God.
Well,
Just
that
so
between
funny.
Edie Brickell and the Nine Inch Nails songs, which, but Edie Brickell, what I am is what I am. Are you what you are or what?
It's just so funny.
Hey,
Oh my
you
God.
can't beat Ethel Merman singing songs that she should never have done. And that like I said
Indeed.
in the comedy set when I would do those, is like, she would have wanted to.
I think she
But
would.
I'm just channeling Ethel from beyond. That's actually, I talked about not channeling spirit guides or anything, but I do channel Ethel Merman singing rock songs and swearing like a sailor because
Oh
she
my
probably did.
God. Oh my God. So funny. So that's one of the memories. And then what was it? Busting up the fight. between the two ladies when you were living in Louisiana over deviled eggs with
Oh yeah.
paprika.
Oh, oh yeah. Well, well, I we my friend took issue with with somebody putting what I think it was because she put paprika on the deviled eggs. And that was not something from St. Louis, Missouri that you did.
Oh shit.
And she said that she would throw down for some deviled eggs. Oh, hell no. And it was the funniest thing. I think like her and I would laugh till we cried.
Oh my God.
We
Oh
would
my
look at
God.
each other and go, oh, hell no.
Well, and you were talking about that they got into it and there was hair
Okay.
everywhere. Like hair everywhere from the bitch fight over
Oh,
deviled eggs
wow.
with without paprika. It's like imagine that.
I guess my phone has decided to sink down. I guess we just wanted Marilyn's
Oh my God. Well,
rack.
so what do you got going on? What are some of the things you're into these days?
Last week I would have just said survival, which
Ah,
has been quite a theme because things have been a little intense here. I have been and I'm still kind of working on coming out of it.
mhm.
Uh, I used to be really into riding my bike until I kept injuring myself, not on my bike, but ever since the fall. So eventually
Hmm,
I'll get back on my e-bike.
good.
But right now I've been dealing with, I fell off a step stool in October,
Oh my
and
God.
then in November I got COVID for the second time, and for the last 2 or 3 weeks I've had something going on with the inside of my ankle to where I have to wrap it. So I am moving beyond survival, and I'm working on getting physically better. Um, but I also am, because of like I said, the adulting that I did this week. I should have some breathing room, and maybe that will mean that I can have some dreams and have some ideas about where I would like to be going and
Mhm.
what I would like to be doing, because I've been treading water for long enough, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's very interesting. Like I can give advice to other people or do readings for other people, and my advice to myself, and any sort of energetic read for myself, is that I need some rest and some mental quiet,
Yes. Yes.
you know.
That
And
is so needed.
so that's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm hoping for. Other than the fact that I'm excited to do readings at the Women of Oddities Market in March, and I'm also excited about maybe doing some more cat and dog sitting. But I just ultimately, I don't. I want to have some fun.
Mhm.
I haven't had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I try these little pockets of fun, little pockets of
Yeah.
giggling
Yeah.
and stuff, but more fun,
I
more
feel you.
play.
I
Yeah.
feel you. I mean, I think it's one of the reasons why wanted you to grace this time and place is because the seriousness level is just too much.
Yeah.
It's
I
too
think that
much. And
we're,
we're so separated by distance now. All I don't have people local anymore. I have one person
mm-hmm.
other than the Scotsman who's local to me, actually two people. And it's a little challenging because I'm a touchy-feely kind of girl. I
I
want to
know.
laugh.
I
I want to do
really miss going thrift store shopping, even though all the thrift stores closed
yeah.
here.
And just the girl stuff and then the fun stuff too. The banter, the lightness of being for fuck's sake.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Enough troubleshooting, enough of the
What?
you know what I mean, enough
Yeah.
of all that serious stuff. And I have a lot of quiet, which is like really, really good. But it would be, you know, having my girls, even if it's just on video, even if it's just on the phone, even if it's just on
I
WhatsApp,
know. I think
you know,
I need to be better about demanding your time. Um and
we can do this kind of stuff. It's
yeah,
fun,
I'd be happy
fun.
to.
It's fun.
I just I think honestly I felt ashamed about where I was at.
Aw.
It made it really hard to reach out to people because I felt like it felt so heavy to me
Mhm.
that I felt like it was too heavy to share with people,
Mm.
because even though I know that I'll get through it, some of it seemed so impossible
Mhm.
when I heard myself saying it out loud, when I would talk to myself or
Yeah.
write it down or whatever. Um I felt ashamed that I couldn't handle things.
Mm.
And I, because I felt like it was, this is true truth. Um, I felt like I should be able to handle everything,
Yeah.
and I should be able to take care of everything and take care of, my home and my child,
Yeah.
who's not a child. But I felt like I should be able to do this,
Yeah. You are
and
doing it,
and
honey.
I wasn't, and I didn't feel like I was doing it, but I because that, when your mind gets looping around,
Oh, I know.
and your mind gets looping around the
Yeah.
negative crap and only thinks about what's not working. And I'm consistently tell everybody over and over again, ask yourself what's good. And even if it's something so simple like my socks are comfortable, or
Mhm.
this coffee tastes good,
Yeah.
or
The pleasure.
wow, that was a good fart, whatever, that and I was not taking my own medicine. I was just
Aw.
ruminating in it, and I was trying. But what I was doing was I was trying to make these gratitude lists, like, out of desperation, and
Mm.
that's not
Yeah.
how it works. My goodness, I've been watching Abraham Hicks forever and ever and ever and ever, and I know that that's not the deal,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
and but I also know that not pick that it's not picking on myself for not being able to go up that emotional guidance scale.
Hmm.
Do you
Hmm.
know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I do.
it just kind of got, I just felt ashamed. I felt like, wow, I don't know what I'm going to do, and I always like to have the answers for everything and everybody.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I'm going to do. This feels
And
impossible.
that's okay. That's
And
okay.
I felt like if I can't tell somebody something good, or tell somebody that I have plans, something exciting happening, then why tell?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's not a good, why
No,
not
no, it's
just
not.
be?
We just be real,
Yeah,
like we always are. I mean, you and I have floated through all kinds of crazy entanglements and weird shit. And
I
here we
know.
are. And we're still able to fucking laugh about
I
a
will
lot
always
of
be
things.
thankful. I will always be thankful for um for the uh crazy chiropractor,
Oh, yes.
and the fact that you introduced me to Mr. Tom, bless his heart,
Bless his heart.
and our friendship, and our sisterhood.
Yeah.
We have been through it.
Yes, we have. We have been through it indeed. And there's more to come.
I know.
There's more to come, honey.
I am not done yet.
No, you're not. No, you're not. So, we will have all of Erin's information in the show notes below. Hit her up for reading. She's fun. She's really, really a fun reader. And before we go, there was a reading that you did for me, like around, I mean, just the shit show of what was going on with with my places in San Francisco. I mean, that whole shit show. And not being able to sell it, and all of a sudden, boom, you said that it was waiting for the perfect person.
Yeah.
And you were right, because it's like the person who bought it, the acting at that time, the acting CEO of Gap International, he would be the only person who would want those places
Right, because he'd
because
be
he
the
had
only
the means.
person who could redo them the way they needed
Yeah,
to be
and
redone.
didn't have a car, didn't give a shit. He had a limo service. I mean, how awesome is that?
I
And
know, I really
I'll never
miss
forget that.
I'm really glad that you'll never forget. I'm
Yeah,
glad I'm
because
unforgettable.
I was totally upset. I was just like, oh my God, because it was during the time of the downturn and all that kind, all the
Mm-hmm.
things is dropping out from under
Well,
everybody. And I came out smelling like a fucking Bulgarian rose.
yeah. Well,
Holy shit.
that's because people are, well, we get very attached to specific outcomes, and that
Yeah,
closes us off
yeah,
from the ultimate,
yeah,
like what the outcome is, and we get very impatient
yeah,
about the outcome.
yeah.
And the truth is that shit's not going to move until it's ready to move, because
Exactly.
you may take action that isn't inspired, but the universe, no, the universe only takes inspired action.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. So, any parting words, darling, before we sign on?
I thought that was a really good one.
Yes.
But that, yeah, I thought that was a really good one. We may take action that is not inspired just out of worry and
Yes.
desperation, but
Yes.
nature and the universe only takes inspired action, and we should take a clue from that.
Indeed. Indeed. All right, darling. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the fun, honey.
Maria! I love you, and we'll talk
You too.
soon.
All right, darling. So that is it for our segment. And until next time, my loves, here's to love, truth, and beauty. And until next time, bye bye for now. Mwah! Ciao, Bella. Ciao.
Ciao!